Okay, we're going to work example 8.6 together. This is on page 245 of your book. If you want to, you can open your book. I'm going to read it to you, but if you want to follow along. It says we're going to do a tall pea plant that produces purple flowers is heterozygous. So we have a tall purple plant that's heterozygous. And you have to always kind of get your key started before you can even start working on these problems. And it is heterozygous in both of the relevant genotypes. So if it's heterozygous, we know it's going to have a lowercase and an uppercase for both because they're different. And it's going to ask us for both the genotypes and the phenotypes. So we're going to be having two parts to our answers. And it says it's going to self-pollinate. Which plants can do that? They can cross with themselves. So we're going to have to figure out our traits, and we use our distributive method. So we can have a tall purple, a tall white, a short purple, and a short white. And if it self-pollinates, we're going to have the same genotypes on the side of our Punnett square. So we're going to have a tall purple. It's the same thing right there. And we're going to have a tall white. And we're going to have a short purple. And we're going to have a short white. And then we just intersect just like we did with our 8. So this one's going to be tall purple, tall purple, tall purple, tall purple. So all of these in this square are tall and purple, even though the genotypes are different, but we've got to answer phenotypes and genotypes. And each one of these squares, because we have 16, is a 6.25%. So this is a 6.25, and 6.25, that'd be 12.5. So that's a 25% right there across this one. So we're going to have to add up some of these percentages. Here we have tall and purple, tall and white, tall and purple, tall and white. So I'm going to put a check by our tall and purple ones. Here's a tall and purple. So we have another 12.5% that's going to be tall and purple. Let's look here. Tall and purple, tall and purple, short and purple, short and purple, tall and purple, tall and white, short, and purple, short and white. Okay, so we've done those two rows for tall and purple. We have tall and purple here, tall and purple here, short, short. So we have another 12.5% right here. Tall and purple. That's it. And another 6.25. So we basically just, I guess that would be 25% like that. Add it up. $66.25%. Did I add that right? Let me double check myself here. 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 2, 3, 4, 5. It seemed wrong. So 56.25. So our first phenotype of tall and purple is 56.25%. And let's look at our next phenotype. We have tall and white. So let's see everything that's tall and white, and really just kind of tediously going through this is the only way you get the answers here. Tall and white, and I'm going to give it a circle. Tall and white. Tall. Okay, I've got that one. That's short and purple, short and purple. Tall and white. And that's it. So we had 3 of them. So 6.25 times 3. 2, 4, 6, 7, 18.75 is going to be tall and white. And here's our tall and purple. And what other phenotypes are we going to have? We have short and purple. So let's look at all of those. This one's short and purple. Now all of these either have a check or a circle. Short and purple. This is short and purple. And so that's another 18.75%. And then we have one short and white, and that will be 6.25. And so for our phenotypes, of course, you would have to write these out nice and neat, and hopefully it will add up to 100%, and if it doesn't, then I've done something wrong. 5, 10, 15, 20, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 16, and 10, 18. So it added up to 100%, so I got it right, luckily. And so you would write it out, tall, white, and each of the percentages. Now they ask us the genotypes too, and you'd have to go through and do the exact same thing with the phenotypes and the genotypes. The genotypes we're going to have a lot more, because here we have this genotype, which is tall and purple, and it's homozygous. So if we look through here to see if we have any that match, and we don't. So that genotype is 6.25%. And this next one, this genotype, is homozygous and heterozygous. So let's look through here and see if we have any that are homozygous and heterozygous. Homozygous for height and heterozygous for color. And here's another one right here. So that makes it 12.5. That's it. And each time you go through these, you're going to have to mark your squares or it gets very, very confusing. And so our next genotype is going to be heterozygous for height and homozygous for color, and the color's purple. And so we just have to check each of them. Here's another one. Oh no, that's not it. So it looks like that's 6.25%. These aren't hard. The hardest part about doing the 16 Punnett square is keeping track of your percentages and making sure you have it all documented. And you're going to have to make yourselves some marks so that you can keep track of your information. And that's the hardest part, is just keeping track of your information. And remember, one square is 6.25% of that trait. They're going to ask you for both the genotypes and the phenotypes. I'm going to give you one of these problems to do and go ahead and answer the questions on the Jupiter grades. Let me go ahead and write one of these out. Let's say that we had, let's go with the other one. Let's do a short purple plant, pea plant, and we're going to cross it with a, let's make it easy, short white pea plant. And go ahead and do the Punnett square. And give me the phenotype percentages and the genotype. And do this on a piece of paper that you can turn in. That's the end of this video.